I don't think you realize what kind of trouble you were in last night.
What's that like to live deliciously?
Who do you think those people were? If I told you their names, I don't think you'd sleep so well.
Hello, and welcome back to another episode of the Cinema Cult Podcast. I'm your host, Cody Maloof. With me, as always, my co-host, Dante Trowina. Dante, how you doing?
I'm doing all right. I'm pretty excited to talk about what we're getting into today.
Yeah, Daredevil Born Again. Dante, I think you should just set us up for this. Season 2, catch us up. Where did we leave off season 1? Kind of where are we picking things up here?
We're in a weird place where, again, this is a show that we reviewed every episode for in season 1. I think we both had kind of similar thoughts that this show is picking up a lot of baggage from what we'd say is a classic Netflix series at this point, probably one of the best superhero media's ever put out. And we have a brand change, almost 7-year gap in between seasons, 3 of the Netflix show, and now season 1 into season 2 of Daredevil Born Again. We're picking up what was kind of a hodgepodge mess of a season that took us through the White Tiger, Muse, some Punisher stuff, a lot of stuff that we have kind of forgotten about from season 1 that was thrown in there, sprinkled in there. But the main gist of it is we're back with Matt Murdock. He is our character that is now on the run, our superhero from the mayor, now Wilson Fisk slash Kingpin. And New York is kind of, depending on which BB report you're watching, in a better or worse spot because of Mayor Kingpin. I think that's kind of where we're left off with season 2. Is that's what they want us to know going in, is that there's Mayor Kingpin and Daredevil is on the run, is the broader strokes of it.
Yeah, it really felt like the first half, even 3/4 of season 1, really just didn't matter at all. I mean, we talked a lot about when reviewing that season as it came out episode to episode that it felt really disjointed, and that's because they kind of filmed one thing, then went back and tried to refilm another second half of the show and stitch it together. It was like a lot of stuff going on behind the scenes. But yeah, like you said, they just want you to remember really kind of the ending of season 1 leading into season 2. And we get right into things. I mean, we're going to talk about the first 3 episodes of the show because that's what's out.
Yeah.
The last 2 came out together. What was it, a couple days ago, right?
Yep. Tuesday night. I think we were both, we made the right decision because we talked kind of off air about episode 1 and should we do a review of it? Should we not? I think regardless of what side of the fence we're on, we have a lot more to talk about today with episodes 2 and 3. They definitely make more choices and definitely have more stuff worth noting.
Yeah, well, what stood out to you, Dante? Like, just give us general thoughts if you want to go episode to episode. I'm probably just going to jump around a little bit, but go ahead here.
Well, so episode 1 for me was a lot of the same, a lot of feeling like it was stapling a lot of the mess back together, doing like some of the tidying up work. And I felt like I expressed to you that episodes 2 and 3 really felt like they were trying to start to tell their own story and be like a freaking TV show instead of carrying all this baggage of the Netflix show and the hodgepodge together season and the Disney Plus politics. Like, it felt like, to me, they're actually trying to have a direction going forward, which I kind of appreciated. I noticed a lot of fog in
Definitely,
especially the first episode. The fog machine is back, one of the main characters. And I did notice that there was a little bit more of the score involved, little things that I asked for, less licensed music or better use of even licensed music. Just little adjustments that I think are big quality of life improvements for season 2, and already to me give it a much more rewatchability than what season 1 had, because I didn't really rewatch season 1 going into this because I didn't care to.
I'm going to be honest, Dante. I don't like this show still. I don't like it.
All right.
I don't like it. It's just the same. It feels a lot of the same from season 1. Like, the stuff I had issues with is still here. And I think you made good points. Like, they do little things, I think, a bit better so far in season 2. I think the music is definitely an improvement. Like you said, a lot more score, less licensed music, using needle drops better. I think they really stuck out really bad, I think, in most of season 1. But I just have a lot of issues with this show. There are way too many characters in this show. We talked off air and I said, the strength of TV shows are their characters. And the problem with this show is I don't give a shit about any of the characters besides our main guys that came over from the Netflix series, Matt
Right.
Karen, Kingpin, and maybe a little bit of Bullseye. Like he hasn't really had much to do so far in these first 3 episodes. He's kind of just lurking in the background. He's had like 2 scenes, I think, in 3 episodes.
Little cameos, basically.
Little like just little quick shots. Um, but yeah, there's way too much stuff going on in this show still for me. I mean, we can get into it, but it's all the side characters, Michael Gandolfini, BB. I just don't really care what's going on with them. We are doing what's going on with the swordsman. I mean, where do we even start here, Dante? Like, I have a lot of issues with like all the side plots besides basically the main story of this, which is Daredevil versus Kingpin.
That's fair. And I'll kind of start with one improvement on that. They effectively in the first episode kind of sidelined Cherry for this season.
Yes, thank God.
It's almost like
Thank God.
they knew our exact sentiments on Cherry as a character. And again, no disrespect to the actor playing Cherry. It's just there is no need for him. I don't think any of us were bought into the Cherry character out of anybody. If you told me to kill off one character, it would be Cherry. He is not killed off yet. I don't know. Kind of hoping. But the end of the first episode is Cherry's apartment being invaded by this anti-vigilante task force, and a guy with a hilarious eye patch, just ridiculous, stupid eye patch, comes in and is beating on Cherry, and then ends up with Daredevil saving him, and Cherry has kind of a minor heart attack. And that was a very conscious decision. Like, there's no way they could have had that be any character that gets attacked by the anti-vigilante task force. And lucky enough for them, Cherry is an ex-cop, so they just wrote it right into his script. And I found that kind of funny, that they were so willing to sideline at least one of them to tidy some things up.
Well, I think he was also a remnant of the previous version of season 1.
Absolutely.
It really felt like he stuck out really badly in season 1. So I think this is the writers like finding a way to get themselves out of having to use this character.
Just full on, we don't know how to rework this guy. We don't have anything for him to
also, his character sucks and adds nothing to the show. So just get him out of there.
Right. So good decision with the side characters. From the first episode, I guess we'll keep going with side characters. They have been trying to do stuff with some of the other side characters. And I still think that a lot of them are either A, underdeveloped, or I guess these are not A or Bs, but they're underdeveloped and they were remnants from the first version of the last show. I don't know if the new writers would have still put in Kirsten McDuffie in the capacity that she's in, or Heather Glenn.
Well,
or
it just feels so overstuffed. Like, why we get like this courtroom scene? Why are we having a courtroom scene in a Daredevil show without Matt Murdock it just means nothing to me. Like, Matt Murdock should be if we're having a courtroom scene in a Daredevil show, Matt Murdock should be practicing law. It takes like 5 minutes and it's a complete sham trial, which I guess is the point. But it's like she's also up there arguing that she didn't get enough time with her client, where she's defending swordsman. But you're only let in on that in like the previous scene. It's not a developed plot point at all. Like, I just don't care about anything that's going on with Kirsten McDuffie, with Heather Glenn, with even with swordsman, because he's kind of played up in the third episode. I kind of forgot that he even got arrested because he didn't really do any swordsmaning in season 1, right? It was like a little clip, like a found footage thing from the BB report, and he's being arrested to like because he went against Fisk. I mean, I can't remember everything that even happened in season 1 now, so maybe that's my fault.
The shame is that Kirsten McDuffie should be a character that we're comfortable for 5 minutes with in a courtroom scene, and I may be more comfortable with her there because I know her from the comics and I'm giving her that leash. I'm not to say that's like some great performance or I care deeply about this character, but I'm okay with it not being Matt Murdock in the courtroom because it still affects Matt's story going forward and leads us to a really cool point with the swordsman. But I do agree with your sentiment of like, we need to maybe have more Matt Murdock in this show. Or just have a character that we can really buy into. And it's still doing a lot of the legwork for you on that, because I think Kirsten McDuffie in episode 3 alone had more screen time than she had in all of season 1.
Yeah, I think you're right.
Like I haven't stat checked that.
It's probably pretty close.
I think I'm pretty close, or right. And so it's just kind of hard to pull someone into a show that has been in the show from season 1 into season 2, episode 3 and say, hey, you're kind of the main focal point of this episode.
Yeah.
And for some that can work, and for some that obviously should never have happened.
I just think this show is at its best when Daredevil is on the screen. Like, that's when I actually am engaged, and when it's actually somewhat like exciting for me is when we just get Daredevil doing Daredevil stuff. Like, the action scenes are all shot very competently. They look fine.
Yeah.
They hit hard in certain moments. Especially, like the high point of this season for me so far is that climactic fight scene at the end of episode 3. That was really cool. Looked fun. Like, that's like kind of getting more into like what we expect from a Daredevil show. Like, it's like classic Daredevil. I just wish we had more of that because, like I said, the other characters really aren't doing it for me. I also find almost every single dialogue scene almost painful to watch. It feels like no one in the show knows how to act. Like, is it just me, or is all the performances just seem really weird for the most part? Like, except for our main people, everything just feels so like weird and almost like
it's
cartoony.
TV actors. Yeah,
But
that's the hardest part.
I've seen
It's
great.
not that level. Well, it's not
They
that
can
level.
be better.
You know,
I don't know.
It does feel to me like it's actors that they're trying to have them do more than what they're capable of. And I again don't want to blame the actors, but I'm also just
I don't blame the actors.
when
not.
you're in a show with Charlie Cox and Vincent D'Onofrio and Deborah Ann Wool, like, you are in a show with very high level actors, and then you're getting what does feel at times like a CW show.
It does.
Like, I will be the first to admit that.
Like, all the dialogue scenes, like that scene when, what's the cop's name? His face got burned, I guess. Also forgot how that even happened to
Cole
him.
North. Yeah, Cole North shouldn't be there.
He's that scene that he has.
Should be dead.
That scene that he has with the main guy leading the task force, whose name I also don't remember because I don't care about.
I like Officer Powell.
When he comes back and he's trying to convince Officer Powell to let him back on the task force,
to come back.
that is like the most wooden CW like acting I've seen in maybe ever in a Marvel series. And it's just like, this show is full of that. It was a lot of it in season 1. A lot of it's carrying over into season 2. Maybe you're right, and it is the actors, but I feel like these guys, if you gave them better material with better in better hands, maybe in better filmmaking hands, the product would be different and it would feel better. It just feels really cartoony to me. Like, the way I can describe the vibe I have from this show is this is like a Saturday morning cartoon cosplaying as a serious drama. It feels so silly and weird at times, but it really is trying to be taken seriously. And the only time I'm really taking it seriously is during all the fight scenes, because that's what's really like grabbing me at this point.
I agree with you on the Cole North point. That dude's actor there's no way. There's no way. I mean, the dialogue's not good either, but that actor looks like he's fucking wandered on the set. Like, he does not seem like he should be in the show at all. And I brought that up in season 1 where he has the little speech about, like, I saw someone getting hit by a car and I thought, I'm gonna be a police officer. It's like, what? Like, what? The delivery, the dialogue, like, everything's so far off. And so when they brought his ass back in out of the blue, I know what they're going to try to do with him because he has a great story arc in the comics, and they shouldn't attempt that. Like, they really shouldn't, with what they've proven that they can write for the character, or proven they can't write for the character, and what the actor has proven his acting chops to be. They should not even attempt it. And, you know, I hope I eat my words on that, but I really don't know if I will. I think one thing that I lined out in my expectations for the show was that, and I had to kind of separate my expectations versus my hopes, because I think there's something about having reasonable expectations for even myself going in, who's a huge Daredevil fan. I wanted them to somehow take at least a bit from the Netflix show and take what was good about season 1, you know, whatever was there about season 1 that was good. And it would be unfair, and it still is unfair, that this is having to compete against the Netflix show, because again, I'm just kind of in the point of letting go of the Netflix show, not in like I'm going to let go, like I don't love it.
Well, we just can't keep comparing.
I'm not going to compare it.
They're two very different shows.
It's not fair. And yeah, two very different shows going to tell very different stories, it looks like, going forward. One thing that I did want them to marry is, you know, you have a bigger budget, a way bigger budget, you know, believe it or not.
Doesn't look like it.
Shown on screen. You were able to show Daredevil using his billy clubs and grappling and all that stuff more in season 1. but you didn't marry it with practical stunt work or, good action scenes for the most part. That's one thing that you've highlighted, that the action scenes in the show are pretty fun.
They are,
I had a really good time
definitely.
with all the action that goes on, and I think that they're advertising the pedal to the metal is going to continue on that front, and I like that. I'm all in on the action scenes. I think they have kind of nailed some of the stuff. I know you might think this is a little more corny. I do like some of the aspect ratio changes and some of the experimentation with the camera,
It's okay.
because at the very least they're trying to do something creative
I'll
with the
give them
camera.
points for that.
And I just appreciate that they're just trying to do something fun with the camera, keep me engaged as a watcher or as a viewer, and doing something a little bit more comic booky. I like that when Bullseye comes on screen, there's a big ass blue light around him, like they're just spamming it. And as ridiculous as that is, I like that it's just unabashed in that it's doing that. It does not hold back with like, we're in Bullseye vision now and everything's blue. Like,
Well,
okay, this is
I like
ridiculous,
that.
but I
That's the
like
kind
it.
of stuff I
Sure.
like. Like, I like when someone,
Embrace
a,
that.
a filmmaker or a creative team is going for like bold visual elements that stuff you can only do in a movie or a TV series. I'm totally cool with Bullseye shows up in the elevator and the elevator lights turn blue behind him. Like, that's cool
Yeah.
shit. There's just
Yeah.
very few moments like that in this show because I think most of this looks like shit. I'm not gonna lie. I still think
Yeah.
it looks the same as season one. It's like this, the lighting is bad, it's flat. There's also lens flares all over the screen in this. I mean, they're shooting
Yeah.
anamorphic here just to try to get lens flares, but it doesn't feel anamorphic at times because they're not really shooting anything wide. It's all like medium close-ups with lens flares. Visually this is not very interesting to me.
I think Andor is probably one of the only ones on Disney Plus that looks good, but I think this is a larger problem with Marvel and with Disney Plus.
Yeah.
It looks so much better on my phone or my iPad. It does not look good on my TV. And I do not have a bad TV. Like, I will not be gaslit
It
into
looks
thinking my
better on
TV.
your iPad? What do you mean?
It's like the visual style looks like it is made
Oh,
to
I
be streamed
I
on
see
an
what you mean.
iPad or on a phone.
Yeah.
Like, it is compressed in such a way that they want you to be viewing it on, because the fog is way down on my phone. The like lens flares look more manageable. Like, they are not mixing it, like, and not even visuals, audio. They are not mixing it for a TV or a speaker with like a subwoofer in it. They are mixing it to be played on a phone
Right.
because the dialogue sounds crisper on my phone. And this is not just Daredevil. This is
This is-
other Disney Plus shows too that
Interesting.
just sounds so much better on my phone or on my iPad. And that fucking sucks that they're making it to be streamed
Yeah, well,
instead of making it to be viewed on a TV.
I don't want to watch stuff on my phone or on an iPad or on a
Right.
computer. I have a nice TV downstairs with a surround sound system. Like, that's where I will always watch all my stuff. It's funny because I was flying yesterday and I was thinking about watching those 2 episodes on the plane, but I was on my iPad and I was thinking, no, I'll wait till I get home, watch them on the TV, like, just because like that's what it'll look better. That's like
Right.
better experience. So it's interesting that you said
Well,
that. I don't think I'll be testing your theory, but I like where
Right.
you're coming from.
The sound mixing is the way more noticeable thing to me. But it does. Like, the visuals do look better on my phone. And I've kitted out my TV and messed with all the settings before for other stuff, like movies like The Batman that look fucking incredible. And so I know that this show is not, it's not my TV settings. And I've seen people say, like, you just need an OLED TV and you need to crank it to these settings, this and that. And I'm really sorry, but you shouldn't have to do that to enjoy a show.
I
either.
have a badass
on
OLED
either
TV
end,
downstairs, and this show looks like shit. Okay, I mean, like,
Right.
it doesn't
And
matter.
mine's a 4K OLED TV too.
Exactly,
You
your
shouldn't-
TV is not going to make something bad look good. You
Right.
know, like, it's not going to happen.
And this is not coming from like people that actually worked on the show. This is coming from shills on either
Yeah,
side.
whatever.
But I do just think that if you have to make that many excuses for something, that's not an excuse. That's just delusion.
Just say your show looks like
Um,
shit. Like, just admit it. It's a Disney Plus show. It
Right.
looks bad. And I'm not saying all Disney Plus shows look bad because some of them have had much better visual style. I mean, WandaVision, I'm thinking of specifically, and Loki,
Sure.
stuff like that with a lot more color, a lot more like dynamic, like cinematography and blocking and lighting. Like, stuff just looks way cooler in those shows than something like this. And that's just kind of lame because I hate to say it again, but the Netflix Daredevil show looks like $1,000,000,
But
and this looks like
Daredevil in general is a hero that lends himself so well to the visual
yes.
medium. All comic books do, but Daredevil has some of the most iconic panels and artists that have worked on him throughout the years. And God, that black suit does look so good.
It does look good.
Like,
It
is it
does.
points towards what I like in the show? No, but that black suit does look so good. Like when they do just the simple shot of him on the rooftop across from Cherry's apartment, God damn it, that shot's awesome, but it should just look a little bit better. It
Mhm.
should be cranked up a little bit more. They should be doing something to give it that extra, deeper blacks or whatever,
Well, it's all about
whatever
the
you want to say
shadows
with
with
it.
Daredevil, right? And the contrast
Right.
and what you don't see. And every shot in this series is like blown out, like there's sunlight pouring in from every window. And
Yeah.
every time Matt and Karen are in their apartment, it's like this like weird sepia tone hue almost. And we don't
Yeah.
really get any cool moody lighting besides like maybe a random shot where like bullseye in the elevator or something like that. But it's like few
Sure.
and far between.
I will say, and I know you just watched these back to back, right? Episode
Mhm.
2 and 3. Like you watched them within the last hour.
I just watched them a little while ago.
I will say episode 3 is a lot better than episode 2.
Yes.
And I think episode 2 is better than episode 1 visually. Not just talking about
Oh, okay.
the content. Jeffrey Waldron took over for episode 3 as the director of photography. He will be back for season 3. I think like the shot where Kirsten McDuffie goes into her office and Daredevil's standing by the window and you see the silhouette of him,
Mhm.
that's an awesome shot. Like
That was nice. Yeah.
that's something that you would see in the Netflix show. And so like more of that, please. And so I hope they found their guy in Jeffrey Waldron, because if you look at the history of the show, like the short history of it, they have gone through DPs like crazy. And so he's on board for I think like 3 of the remaining episodes in this season, and he is the director of photography for all of season 3. And I will say episode 3 is like leagues more competently shot and has more risks to it and has the blue elevator scene without being ridiculous, and has
Mhm.
the one of my favorite shots is when they are doing that court case and the camera twists in on the judge and it's showing like, the scales of justice are out of balance.
Yeah.
Little stuff like that is fun. I like the hyper edited Wonder that they did for the fight scene.
Yeah, it
Because
looked good.
it's a different style of Wonder, but it fits what's going on in that scene. It's just overly hectic, and they're just trying to make it out, which I just really enjoyed the way that whole sequence was edited. And the fight scenes did look better in episode 3 than they did in the first 2 episodes. They looked okay in the first 2. I felt like in 3, the fight scenes, even when they were frenetically edited, looked more clear to me. Whereas
Yeah.
the fight scene in the apartment episode 1, I couldn't really tell what was going on when.
Mhm. And no, I definitely, like I said, high point of this season so far for me is like the ending fight scene of season 3. So where do you think we're gonna go from here? He breaks out all these people that Fisk has been imprisoning, which again, we didn't really get much like info on or much lead up to. It's just like we get one little scene where the anti-vigilante task force like arrest these people, which also I thought that scene was like pretty silly. Anyways,
It
so
was
like
overkill.
it's just so stupid. I mean, what did
So
he?
I'm
Go ahead. Go ahead.
well, in my I have notes like just breaking down all the episodes, and I was hoping you liked it a little bit more, so I don't want to get into like all the things I loved about it.
Well, no,
But I
that's what
also,
you
I'm a
should.
critic too, right? And
Yeah.
so like, um, and I'm totally biased towards Daredevil, Batman, Moon Knight, all these things. But I hated the Moon Knight show. I am not a big fan of season 1 of this show, and so I'll call it when I see it. We do not need a shotgun in a fucking convenience store to make our point there.
Right.
Like that made the point less of a point because
Yes.
the dude pulls out a shotgun on
On
teenagers,
a kid,
to
and
defend his store.
yeah, and
All
the
he needs
cops
to do,
oh, he's taking the law into his own hands. I'm like,
like, it kind of
what?
is. And what all he needs to do is go up to the kids and kind of get in their face. And then the cop comes in and stops him.
Uh-huh.
And that would say all the point it needs to say without being just ridiculous. I think the shotgun pulling on the kids is what makes that scene just way too escalated. Whereas the police could just take him out for doing something simple like a misconduct between him and those kids, or simple
Right.
raising his voice at the kids. And it would make a point pretty loud and clear. And again, it's funny because I see people on this show is getting pretty political. But I see people talking about like it's so unbelievable that Wilson Fisk would be mayor. No, it's not. And
No,
it's so
especially in the comic book
unbelievable
universe.
what the anti-vigilante task force is doing. No, it's not. And it's funny because this is actually something with the AVTF that they set up in season 1. And so it kind of was, I wouldn't say ahead of its time, but it was something they definitely set up in season 1 and it's kind of played out in real life. And they filmed this time last year.
Mm-hmm.
And so I do think it's kind of interesting that people are saying it mirrors what's going on, in the past couple of months in real life, because this was filmed last year when some of this stuff was not happening. So probably making the show even better or worse for some people, depending on how much you want to read into the politics of a Marvel show on TV.
Yeah, I want this show to focus on this core narrative, though. That's like what I think the driving force should be. And I just think we're kind of getting bogged down with all of these side plots, like the swordsman trial. I felt like that was kind of rushed. Obviously, they're trying to introduce him. Like he's going to be teaming up with our main cast.
I think
of
he's
heroes.
out.
You think he's out?
I think he is in the next episode if they show a beginning, and I think he's done till the finale or done for the season. I don't know. I don't think he has that much more to do. I do like Tony Dalton.
I like him,
I
and
really do.
He's a good actor, so I thought maybe they were going to keep him around. Because I thought his character was also kind of interesting, like him fighting with Daredevil. That was interesting to me. But I really want them to focus on this main narrative of the anti-vigilante task force, Wilson Fisk as mayor, him kind of plotting against Daredevil, because like the scene where he's plotting
the
cat
and mouse game.
Yeah, they're doing the cat and mouse.
That scene is great. I know exactly what you're talking about.
And he's trying to figure out they're saying, why don't you just tell everyone that Matt Murdock is Daredevil?
Right.
And he's like, well, no, I can't do that because that's just going to make him more of a people's champion, the blind lawyer vigilante.
Yeah.
But what I can do is flip it around, and Matt Murdock saved my life. Everyone needs to find him. He's a hero. I like that. That was cool.
Well, and that addresses a concern that we have as an audience of dude, Fisk knows his identity.
Yes.
He could blast it out there, and that's something we kind of theorize for season 1. And I do like that they give that line to Buck, because it makes Buck a smarter character per se. And he's asking the question that we're asking as the audience. And Fisk says, no, you know what? And the smile that D'Onofrio gives when he gives the little,
saved my life.
We need to find this hero.
Yeah.
And he gives this childish grin. I was like, that's fucking great. Let's lean into this stuff. I'm a big fan of what they're trying to do with Buck, actually. And Buck was probably the character I was furthest out on besides Cherry in season 1. I wasn't a big fan of British James Wesley. I kind of like him in this season.
He's getting some stuff to do.
I've always liked thank you, Buck. The way D'Onofrio says Buck with the hard K is fucking awesome. But he's getting some real detail and stuff to do.
He's being developed a little bit, actually.
I kind of like that. And
Me too.
I do like Daniel Blake a bit more. I do like Soprano Jr. a bit more in this season. I think we were both kind of skeptical on him in season 1. And I like that he's just a fucking weasel. And I just got you a hot dog. Or I like that he's a fucking bimbo, but he's in this position and he's somehow floating by on what he's doing. Out on BB.
I just don't like the subplot at all or the character, and I don't like what she's.
I want to like the actor.
They're trying to weave. I don't mind the actress at all, but I don't think any of the scenes with her and Gandolfini are working very well.
No,
I don't really.
I do like that he has a Godfather poster, and that's the only decoration is in his apartment.
I actually have some thoughts on the decorations. In his office, he has a Mets pennant, but then behind him in the windowsill, he has a Yankees glove or something. So already
that
I'm
makes so much sense for him though,
because he's just a dumbass.
He's just a fucking flip flopper,
and he's got a Jets thing hanging up behind him.
Yeah,
and he also has posters on the wall that say hustle, excel, grind. It's what? That's so stupid.
That's what I like about him though, is that he is a fucking bimbo. He feels like that kid you went to high school with who was way too big for their britches, and somehow he's in the mayor's office. It's he's a fucking salesman. I do like the scene with him and Fisk, where Fisk is is there anyone in this office you feel the need to protect? And he says, you, sir. Good answer. I really like that dynamic. I think the way it's going to play out is going to be interesting, because he is caught You know, for as much as they're trying to develop this plot line, and we might not be as into it, he is caught between a rock and a hard place. He does obviously like BB. He's obviously scared shitless of Fisk, as he should be. And he's kind of getting the inkling that BB might be the one stealing some of his videos or hacking
Uh-huh.
into his laptop, but he doesn't want to lose her and he doesn't want to lose his position with Fisk. And I think that will actually play out in a pretty interesting plot line where it's going from here. Let's round up the side characters and get to kind of the meat of some of this stuff. Officer Powell, I love him. He's one of my favorite additions to this show. Um, the line where he says, and I wrote it down, what he says to the crew of the Northern Star, and he says, I think word for word, "'Cause I fucking said so."
Yeah.
And the way he delivers it is just so funny. Where they're like, "We want to go home and see our families." Well, no. Why not, sir? Because I fucking said so. Like, he's just so that actor is so good at rage baiting, dude. Like, he's so good at making you hate him. And even back to season 1 when he's putting people's hands in the grease, the boiled grease and stuff, like, Buck telling him, like, "You love interrogating, don't you? Like, you gotta chill out, dude." And him saying, like, "I wanna beat that redheaded asshole as much as you do," to Mayor Fisk is just so funny. And even in that Cole scene, which we picked apart with Cole North and the burn on his face, you can see that Powell's like disgusted by the burn on his face. And I think that is hilarious by him like, "Okay, whatever, dude, I'll give you your job back," because he's just so like self-righteous and thinks way more of himself than he should. And I like him. And the fact that he thinks he can take on Bullseye, like, yeah, we're gonna take him out, is just so funny. And I just really like that character, man.
Yeah, so that's really what I want to get into here. Is like you said, you want to get into the meat of the series a little bit more. Like,
Yes.
where are we going? Where do you think like sees the next couple episodes are going to take us? When's Bullseye really going to become a main character in this story, or like what? Just where do you think we're going to go from here?
So I do kind of like what they've been doing with Bullseye and making him like, you know, just kind of like how the Winter Soldier is in Captain America Winter Soldier, where he pops in, fucks things up, and leaves. And we don't really know what his mission is yet. I like that he asked about Sister Maggie.
Yeah, I did
Just
like that. That was a
cool
good
kind of
detail.
callback. And it was funny because in my expectations versus hopes, my hopes was more Bullseye. What's going on with Sister Maggie were like the first couple things
She's
that I
in
wrote.
Rome.
And so, you know, they addressed it in the start of season or episode 2, and I was like, "Oh, you're speaking my language." Um, I think Bullseye and Vanessa are gonna have their date with Destiny pretty soon.
Mhm.
In that'll probably be like a mid-season finale type thing. Even though it's a short season, right? They still TV writers still cling on to the mid-season finale, even when it is 8 episodes, which is always weird to me because I think you need more episodes to make it that. I think that'll be the turning point of the season going into the last like 2 or 3 episodes and be like a turning point for Mayor Fisk where he just really becomes Mayor Kingpin once Vanessa is out of there. I think she is a goner. And I like what they're doing with her too. I think she's enough of like she's a side character, but she is part of the main meat. And I like what they're doing with her with having those cinematic ass nightmares that she's having where it's the blue rose and she's going
Yeah.
out and there's more fog. Used properly, by the way, in this scene, the fog in her nightmare. And I like how terrified they both are of Bullseye, knowing that they basically know he's going to kill her. Like I
Bullseye's
do
like the
think
Grim Reaper in this show. Like if you meet
he's
him, he's gonna
awesome.
fucking kill you.
He's awesome. And you know, I've heard there's more Bullseye. I think it maybe kicks off with a something at the maybe like the boxing event. He takes out Vanessa or something. I don't know. Um, but however you can get more Bullseye in the show, I think it's one of the characters that they really understand. And so bring him in. Like
I want more
use your
action.
strengths.
So bring him in. I want more
Um,
action in this show. If there's too much talking, bad dialogue, shit I don't really find interesting. Let's get to some more action,
show me
some
some
more
action.
superheroing like occurring because
Yeah.
that's what's gonna keep me hooked.
Well, and I think that's where this show actually does, like, where you'd say it's like, "Oh, this is where it's really going well," is when there is action or when there is a faster pace scene. I think when they find their groove, it is fun to watch. Um, I it's episode 3 ended with a choice, like a real choice, and not only just the choice to wake the fuck up and tell us some good action storytelling through there, but it ends with the choice of Fisk blowing up his crew on the Northern Star, and he's gonna frame Daredevil through that. And I like how I think we are like, holy fuck, he did that. Um, but the characters being surprised is kind of funny to me because I'm not surprised that Fisk did that too. Like I've never put that behind him or past him as somebody that will blow up his own people for, the greater good or in his eyes. So he blows up the crew of the Northern Star. Daredevil is shocked at the end of episode 3 by this choice. And I think going forward, we might get into like some more commentary, which I think they're doing okay with the Fisk side of things about like government staged terrorism,
Sure. Yeah,
which is
I like that.
fucking crazy that they're doing that.
I like when
and that
get,
they
get
called
into
their
that
shot
sort of thing.
again this time last year.
Yeah.
Because again, they filmed this a year ago. And so really timely, really interesting, and like a ballsy choice going into, the rest of the season that they had him just off people. And I think that's why Matt's so shocked is because even with Fisk, he doesn't put anything past Fisk, but he maybe puts that past him in this chair, in this mayor's office, that he would blow up his own people or something.
Mm-hmm.
And so Matt is even shocked hearing that the Northern Star is blowing up. And I think that's a really cool, like, propelling event. And I'm glad they dropped 2 episodes in a row because that's a really good hook going into the rest of the season, seeing where that goes. And I hope they do build off of it.
Yeah. I don't really know where we're going to go from here. I mean, I really have no clue. So, like,
right.
We have different ideas of like what Swordsman might do going forward. We're gonna towards the end of the season or episode 3. I kind of started to think, when are we gonna see some of these other characters they've been teasing? Jessica Jones.
Right, Jessica Jones.
Foggy also is supposed to appear in some form, I guess. I don't know if he's actually dead or a flashback or whatever. And then maybe some other characters that we don't even know about that we're going to get yet. Not that we need more characters. We need fewer characters in this show. Maybe just another 1 or 2 that I would actually enjoy watching would be nice though. Or just focus solely on Matt.
I do think they're not afraid to off people now though.
I hope.
Because I felt in season 1, it was like a mandated, even though it wasn't a choice, I guess, it felt so mandated when they killed off Foggy. And so
yeah,
I would like it, like, I'm not rooting for character deaths like that, but
I'm rooting for all of these characters to die, honestly. I think what could happen here is like maybe the season 2 is like the gradual teardown of this version of this show, and then we just get back into like what we were doing a little bit closer to what we were doing with Netflix, where it's just Matt, Karen, maybe Punisher shows up, maybe Jessica Jones shows up for a little bit, but it's more in line with what we had before, like not so many side plots.
My bold prediction is, well, I think this one's not as bold. I think Matt and Karen are doomed. Like I think it's
like their
very
relationship,
obvious, and their relationship is just doomed. They're just on 2 different pages about what they want this revolution to be. I do wonder if Matt and Karen, like, they had this kind of argument about, what justice actually is, or should they start killing people? It was just I wouldn't call it even an argument. It was just kind
Karen
of like
shoots somebody
what,
in this.
What
in
do we
episode
do?
3.
Karen shoots somebody in episode 3. Karen Page with a gun is still the scariest character in the MCU. She could beat Thanos. Not a big fan of her like training and being a martial artist badass, because that to me
just
is
trying
like
to give her
CW
something to do in the action scenes, but that was never
Everybody
really
doesn't need to be a hero.
That was not her strong suit in the Netflix series.
No.
Like, she was a great character because she was like the yin to the yang. She wasn't also in there she was doing a lot of other stuff that was also
when
really
she kills
helping
James
them.
Wesley, it is so shocking.
Yes,
and that's what makes it a great moment.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be surprised if maybe even like she does something to kill someone. Like, imagine if she killed Vanessa, and that drives a rift between Matt and Karen. Even that would be a cool choice, I think, to just make. I think this show is kind of playing out a lot of the same stuff with Matt and Karen and Fisk, and it does need to shake up the MO at some point and find its own confidence at some point, because we can't just come here every week and say we only like the 3 things from the original Netflix show. Like, that's not going to be a sustainable formula. And
that's not good podcasting, I'll tell you that. But I don't really have a whole lot else to say positively about this show.
And so we need something to really shake up what's going on. So I think Matt and Karen are doomed. I think they have the guts to do that this season. And I think there's like, I'd still put it at a really low chance, but maybe Karen Page dies too. Like, Vanessa and Karen Page die. We get mirroring paths with Matt and Wilson Fisk. And I actually wouldn't mind that. I think her character has done what she needs to do. Both characters. I think the stuff they're doing with Vanessa is pretty fun. She's at her best when she's manipulating situations. So it was,
Mhm.
even though, we can say what we want about the dialogue, her saying to Heather Glenn, like, you're going to go sit with Buck or whatever, like, that's where Vanessa excels at just manipulating situation, being the one in control in the room, whispering to Kingpin that, uh, not mayor,
The
governor,
governor.
the governor, she's only upstaging you because she's scared of you or whatever. She's at her best when she's doing that as a character. Um,
I did
so
like having the governor show up and explain why, like, give us some explanation as to why Fisk has been allowed to do all this shit for so long. Like,
right,
basically just like fixing an in-universe plot hole where it's like, why would the governor who Fisk is just the mayor of New York, right? He's not doesn't have that much
right,
power in the grand scheme
right. He's
of the
not the
political
president.
landscape.
Yeah.
But the governor's like, I've been letting you get away with this because the voters like it and it's been, mostly popular, but now you're going too far, Wilson. Like, I actually like that someone coming in and
Right,
putting him in his place. Like, you're just the mayor. Like, you're not, you're not the president. You're not even the governor.
right.
Like, there are a
You're
lot of
getting
people above you that
When she
can,
even says, "I've given you a lot of leash with
uh-huh.
your, lethal force or whatever,"
Yeah.
and I like that she's just a straight arrow. Like, there really does seem to be no dirt on her, and I do like that. Like, not every character has to have complexities. Like, she can just be a straight arrow governor that is above him, and that's fine because that's a resisting force against our character. Talking about another character that comes in and puts Fisk in his place a bit, Matthew Lillard
That's what I
was
wanted
not
to
in
talk about.
episode 2 or 3.
Where is
I
he?
think I don't know, but I'm excited for whenever he pops back up. I like this guy, dude. I like that he can walk into a room with Kingpin and have his, little zipper down a little bit, unbutton 2 buttons on his shirt, have his hand over the chair as he's talking to him. I like how comfortable he is around Fisk, and I like how fast when he needs things to get done. Like, I forgot what the line was to him, but he just looks at somebody and goes, "No." In episode 1, you're like, "Oh shit, this guy really is that powerful." Like, Fisk is trembling about him too. And so I don't know where he is, but I'm excited for him to come back.
Yeah, I definitely want to see him again. I thought he was the most interesting new piece in episode 1, and then we haven't seen him in the previous 2 episodes. So I almost could guarantee we're going to see him in episode 4. We still don't really know much about him, who he is, what he's really there
Yeah.
to do, other than kind of like manage the situation. So I guess we'll see. I mean, I'm definitely intrigued, but I've already said there's too many characters in the show to begin with. So adding another one, you better do a good job here. Otherwise, it's just
Well,
going to be more of the same.
I do like that they seem to be picking their shots with him. And that's what I do appreciate about the new writing crew per se, is that they're not just trying to throw this character in your face. Like, even the governor or Matthew Lillard's character, which is Mr. Charles, I believe.
Mr. Charles.
But or whatever your name is, which is an awful line. You don't need to tell us that. Obviously it's a fake name.
Uh-huh.
But I do like that they're picking their spots with these characters. And I do think that every character from season 1 that is a side character, besides Cherry, because they've taken him off the board, does have something more interesting to do than what they had in season 1, which is, again, not saying a whole lot, because
Yeah.
in season 1 they were awful. But the Heather Muse stuff, definitely more interesting. Kirsten McDuffie actually being a character, definitely more interesting than what she was doing in season 1. Buck, Daniel Blake. I think the only one that might be lacking is BB out of all the side characters.
Well, she's
compared to
also
their
getting
season 1
more to do
counterparts.
now here, though,
More
because
to
it's
do.
revealed that she's the one making these videos with
Yeah,
of
I'm out on that.
mocking Mayor Fisk. You don't like that? I like that better than the BB report stuff we're getting. At least that
Sure.
to me is a bit more interesting. I did like that was kind of funny where the scene where Gandolfini is showing with the other lady that works in the mayor's office that video. And she's
Yeah,
like, has
she
the
does-
mayor seen this yet? No, it's pretty underground. It's like, you're watching that on fucking YouTube. What do you mean it's underground? Like, it's on the internet. It's what are you talking about,
I
bro?
just I love how Daniel talks, though. I think a lot of that is intentional, but he's playing such a doofus that I think maybe there's part of like, is he doing a bad job or is he doing so good at playing a doofus? Like, I don't
I think they're
know.
giving the
And that's-
character or the writing just a bit too much credit there, but
I don't know. And part of it is we haven't seen this kid act in anything else really, besides I think Licorice Pizza, right? Was the other one that he was in?
Is
Or
he
was
in
that
that?
Philip Seymour
I'm not
Hoffman's
even.
son? Sorry.
That was Philip Seymour Hoffman's son. That was Cooper
Okay.
Hoffman. I'm
Right.
not even criticizing the performance here. I'm more criticizing just the tone and the dialogue and just like the logic of
Yeah.
the scene. What do you mean this is underground? You're literally watching it on what looks like YouTube on the internet. What are you fucking talking about? But I actually kind of
I think
like.
that's a lot of his characters. What the fuck
Yeah,
are you talking about
yeah.
though?
No, but I do find the mayor parody Mayor Fisk stuff a bit more interesting. I mean, that's obviously BB's whole arc in this season is going to be her kind of
Yeah.
betraying Gandolfini, leaking stuff, making these videos. She's going to get caught at some point. Maybe she'll get killed, just like I killed your uncle, right? Was it her uncle or her dad who was Ben Urich? I forget.
Uncle Yerk, yep.
I killed your uncle. Now I'm gonna kill you too, or something like that. That sounds like a line that would be in the
Right.
show, honestly, because how poor the dialogue is. But that could happen. I'm at least I'm not say happy, but I would at least say that I'm a bit more interested with what her arc seems to be this season versus
Right.
what it was last year.
I do think if you break it down character by character, I like Heather Glenn more. I like what Vanessa's doing more. I like Bullseye being more part of the show. So I will give it that benefit of doubt that like they were stuck with a lot of characters from this reboot show, and you don't want to terminate actors' contracts because that's really shitty. To just like, oh, you were Kirsten McDuffie in the show. We filmed 6 episodes, but we don't want you anymore.
Well, did they
And
sign on
so
season to season though? I mean, couldn't they
I don't
not
know.
bring them back, or how
Right.
many seasons
But
are
you
they
can't
planning to
not bring them
do?
back
Or
season to season either. But so I do appreciate that they're trying to make something happen with all these guys. Um, I agree with you. Like, there's too many characters, and they have so much legwork to do because the story's trying to be in season 2, where the character development is in season 1
Mhm.
with some of these side characters. It's not fair to anybody. Um, the
let me
new
let me make it
writers,
let me make an analogy here. That to me feels like when I was in high school and we had Spanish 1 with a teacher who didn't speak any English and we didn't learn anything. So then the next year we went into Spanish 2 with a new teacher, but we had to learn Spanish 1 all over again because we
right,
didn't learn
right,
anything in the first year. This is what it
right,
feels like with the character development, like you're saying. You didn't
yeah,
develop any of the characters in season 1 when that's the season you're supposed to do it in. So now you're trying to do it
yeah,
in season 2 when really we should like hit the ground running, and it doesn't
yeah.
really feel like we are.
And the story's trying to,
Yeah.
right, hit the ground running and keep going. And so, I'm still learning what Kirsten McDuffie's traits are as she's the lawyer in a trial. And I think the actor does a good job with what she's given. I don't even think the dialogue or anything is bad. I just think that we don't have any base for that character. And so that's just an unfair position to put the character in. And I'm not at the point of calling it bad writing. It's just like bad placement, which I guess is
Yeah. Bad
in a way
plotting,
bad
maybe they
writing,
didn't
but
have
bad
stuff planned.
plotting,
It's all going back to
which sucks.
it's all going back to season 1 where they shot something, hated it, and reshot it, and then tried to
Right.
stitch 2 things together.
Right.
That's really like where
And
I
so
think
I will always,
yeah,
before anything, blame Disney and Marvel's own politics. Before I blame writers,
just the
before
way
I
they
blame
make shows.
actors,
Yeah.
like fuck them for this. Because this is really messed up what they're doing to one of our favorite characters. And just sad for like again the actors in that position because they were probably promised a lot more than what they're getting, based on what their screen time was in the original version of the show. Um, the White Tiger stuff
I wanted to
uh,
bring that up too.
is maybe what I can do without
Yeah.
out of all the side characters. I don't
Again,
know
just
where you are on that.
another subplot, another little thing
That they
thrown
just
in there.
have to add on to.
It's
Yeah.
just so much going on. And maybe
Right.
if this show wasn't so overstuffed with other side character subplots, this maybe would feel a bit more
Have more room
natural.
for it.
Like, because also that's something that carried over from maybe one of the things from season 1 that I actually remembered and like kind of was
Right.
interested in when it, that that whole like plot in season 1 or that subplot that carried over here. That's somewhat interesting to me, but it just feels like again like we're just doing more and more and more instead of focusing on
Yeah.
what we already have.
Well, and again, this is to me Disney. It's the way they make shows. It's the like seemingly just lack of giving a shit about this character. Like kind of a half-assed marketing campaign. It feels like it's still carried from the wheels of people who liked the first show or liked the comic book character. Um, it's a shame because like the actors have to get up there and like they're very excited about the material that's to come, and they have made that very clear. A lot of the actors, they think the show's heading in the right direction, and they have to like sell you on that, and that
Mhm.
sucks as an actor because after season 3 of Daredevil, you wouldn't have had to sell me on shit for season 4. Just tell me where to be and I'll show up when it's dropping. And so it's just unfair to everybody involved with the actual making of the project, like actual hands-on artistry, that some suits have their own agenda to fulfill. And the week to week dropping, this show is not at the point yet where it should be doing that. I am convinced, I am bought on enough that I obviously watch it week to week. I think it's going to get to the point where it will be good enough to be week to week, but it is still not, because it's just because they did a disservice at Disney by what they churned out the first season to be.
Yeah, it doesn't play well week to week because none of the episodes are satisfying in and of themselves. So it
They're
doesn't
still doing
feel like
so much legwork. Yeah.
yeah, it doesn't feel like you get rewarded for watching week to week. It just feels like you got another crumb of
You're
something
like
that
chipping
might
away.
be interesting.
Right.
It's like
You're like, we're praying we're that guy in the dirt mine and there's maybe some gems behind us at like episode 6 or 7 or something.
right.
Right.
And I mean the way people like the actors, the people involved in the show are talking about it's like when the Pink Floyd fans tell you that the song gets really good at 7 minutes and 24 seconds in,
Right.
it's like, well, it better get
Right.
really fucking good because I'm
Right.
not enjoying what
And
I've
I'm that
listened to up to
person,
this
man.
point.
Yeah.
No shots against Pink Floyd, but it's just like that's a comparison I think that kind of
No,
makes.
yeah.
You got
Absolutely.
anything else for
And
us? Any more big ideas before we
just
wrap this up here?
still really quickly pissing on Disney Plus.
Sure.
Nothing, I mean, besides really Andor, they haven't had shit hit in a while to me.
Yeah.
I don't think this streaming platform is worth $20 a month to have
No,
just the basic version
absolutely
without
not.
ads. Fucking insane, because I had to resubscribe because I was not subscribed to Disney Plus because they're churning out some fucking dookie.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, I'll do the version with ads because ads will just play before the show and I can put up with that. And that's
Do they?
$13, which
They don't play
which
during the episode.
I thought, which
You're
because the
giving them way
Netflix
too much
one,
credit by thinking that.
right? Netflix, it's like $7 a month to do it with ads, and it only pops up before the show. It's like 45 seconds. And I'm like, yeah, I'm doing this. I'm
Yeah,
in on
sure,
that. Like
sure.
just to save a couple bucks, I'm fine with it. Disney Plus, I signed up for the $13.99 with ads and was like, let's just see how the ads are first.
Is that the
Like
cheapest
maybe
one? $13.99.
cheapest one is like $13.99. It was either $12.99 or $13.99. It was
Jesus.
$13 in some sense. Cheapest one is that version with ads. And I click on to Daredevil episode 1 and I look and you can see where the ads are. There were like 7 ads sprinkled throughout
Oh,
the show. And I was
God.
like, no. So I just went back, upgraded to the $20.99 package. And like it's just not $20 a month for Disney Plus.
The
There's no
only
fucking
reason
way.
I was actually gonna cancel, but the only reason I still keep it is because one of my roommates, our friend Nikita, pays for HBO Max, and so we share it. So like I use HBO
Right.
Max, she uses Disney
Right.
Plus. Like it's a fair trade, but I was telling her like you are literally the only reason I still have this subscription.
Right. Just
Otherwise,
for
I
the
would
trade off.
Yeah, otherwise I would cancel it.
Yeah, and so it's not doing enough for me, and it's unfair too to the show because you can see whoever forced them into doing 2 and 3 together because they're like, oh, we need to get some momentum, and 3 is really good at the end. And so there is a flashback not 2 minutes into episode 3 because they're trying so hard to show you that it's week to week, and I think the writers are not confident in the week to week format. Like I think they want it to drop at once. And they're telling a story that will ramp up and it should be dropped at once. There's a flashback at the beginning of episode 3 that is Karen tasering the anti-vigilante task force that raided Josie's. It's not, and I watched it less than 5 minutes of screen time ago.
Yeah,
And
like
so
they just
you're showing me
happened.
that flashback week to
Uh-huh.
week, and I don't even think that's like it shouldn't have been shown anyways. Because if you're on season 2, episode 3 of Born Again, you're on right
Yeah.
the train. But it shows that the writers are trying to plan for this week to week shit and not even knowing what Disney's going to do with it or how
Right.
Marvel's going to want to market it. And that fucking sucks, dude. Like that's just another layer of shit on this show and another layer of tainted stuff between the visuals looking better on my phone, the sound design sounding better on my iPad. Like that's just shit for this app. And if I'm paying $20 a month, Netflix in its prime days with the Marvel show was not more than $10 a month
No, it was cheaper
for
then.
the
It was cheaper
prime,
back then.
right?
That was when they were
So
putting out
I'm
good stuff.
paying double the price for not even half the content and then not even half the quality.
When you put it that
And
way, what are
that
what the fuck are
sucks,
we even doing
right?
here? Like,
Why are we paying for this, right? And it's because we love this character and we have so much invested into Charlie Cox's Daredevil. We
Yeah.
want to believe. And I'm much higher on this episode than you are, but I'm much lower on Disney Plus after even these first 3 episodes because you're finally giving me a semblance of hope, but I'm being beaten back by your fucking choices.
yeah.
And that sucks. So that's kind of my rant on it.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's a good place to leave it. I really don't have much else to add other than that. I agree with everything you just said. I mean, I don't think the show is worth the price of admission, honestly, at this point. We're still going to keep watching it because
Yeah.
we love torturing ourselves and this is good content for the podcast. So, like, why not? Also, it's because we really love this character. That's why I'm willing to stick this out.
Yeah.
I'm not a huge TV watcher. I watch maybe 5-10 shows a year, maybe at most 10. Like, that's like high for me. So it's really easy for me to watch a couple episodes of a show, even a show that I find mildly interesting, and just kind of not finish it because I'm watching movies, I'm doing other stuff.
Right.
So this is like really
I have enough
exception-
good stuff to watch. Yeah.
Exactly. Like there's a lot better stuff I could be watching than Daredevil Born Again season 2. It's really just because I'm really like this character and we've both been huge fans of this character for a very long time. That's
Right.
what really keeps us coming around at this point.
We could both be rewatching the Netflix show, or I could be reading this whole half of my shelf, which is all Daredevil stuff behind me, that I've read about 70% of. I could be finishing up my catalog, but I care about this character and I want it to succeed. I do think we're on the right track. I do think we're making choices. I think we're building off of plot lines, like what narratives should do, which is kind of cool to see. Like, Muse tormented Heather. Heather is affected by Muse tormenting her.
Sure.
Holy shit. Like, it's amazing what just average competency can do for this show. But we still got a little bit of ways to go. I hope they double drop everything else. I know they won't. But I still think the double drop was like a cool momentum shift to me. And I am still looking forward to what this season has in store. And I'm really hoping for some more like bold choices because that's when the show is at its best, is making bold choices, making me think a bit as an audience member and making me get excited for action scenes. Philip Silvera, the stunt coordinator, shout out to him. He's got a big budget to play with now and he is using it very well at the end of episode 3.